The woes of war. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah. Let me categorically emphasize here that war is never a solution to any problem. There is no any conventional war that has been fought without bringing untold hardship, suffering, excesses to lives and property, including the restriction of movements, as in the case of refugees fleeing for their dear lives. Neighboring countries and beyond are affected as well because they have to cope with the instant influx of refugees into their countries. War brings about fear, anxiety, confusion, psychological problems, etc. Women and children are affected the most. In some cases, women and children are raped beyond description. Some children are lost, never to reunite with their parents anymore. From my previous presentations, we now know that everything in the universe has a vibrational sequence which is interwoven with frequency resonance and also electromagnetism through the channel of the law of attraction. Fear, pain, anxiety, psychological problems, stress, and all the negativity born out of war vibrate at a frequency of 1.1 to 2.5 hertz. Take a look at this beautiful theory. Conventional war can reduce it into ashes within seconds. We have come all the way from 00.00 hours to 23.55 hours of self-destruction. We are left with only 5 minutes to the destruction of our dear planet Earth. In Quran chapter 27 verse 34, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated thus. She said, the Queen of Sheba, surely when aggressive troops enter a town or city, they ruin it and make the noble of its people to be the lowest. And that is what they always do. Let us now watch this video.
What if the US and Russia had a nuclear war? If they each used their current nuclear arsenals, they would burn every major city and industrial area in each country. Professor Alan Robach, a climatologist and distinguished professor from the Department of Environmental Sciences at Rutgers University, answered this question. Within a week of the nuclear war, 150 million tons of black smoke would enter the atmosphere. It would rise into the stratosphere, covering Earth and lasting for years. The black smoke absorbs sunlight, preventing it from reaching the surface. 2 weeks after the war, as the smoke spreads around the world, it gets dark and cold at the surface. The sunlight that is absorbed by the smoke in the upper atmosphere heats it, destroying the ozone layer. This lets dangerous ultraviolet UV radiation to reach the surface. Even though some of the UV will be absorbed by the smoke, much more gets to the surface. UV radiation destroys DNA, the building blocks of life, which will lead to increased cases of cancer. After 2 months, temperatures over all continental land regions plummet below freezing. And now we have a nuclear winter. Agriculture grinds to a halt and will not be possible for several years. At the 2 months mark, rainfall halts over all continental land regions, and some falls as snow instead. This adds to the problem for agriculture. After 4 months, famine begins as existing stocks of food run out. Cold, dry, dark conditions prevent agriculture for several years. After 2 years, most people on Earth have starved to death. A few people on coastlines may survive in a hunter-fisher-gatherer existence, but they have to deal with the cold, dark conditions and the enhanced UV radiation. The number of survivors will be very low, and most will be in the southern hemisphere, far from the bombs, and surrounded by a warm ocean that will reduce the cooling. Year 4. Later, temperatures slowly begin to rise, but will not be back to pre-war conditions for another 20 years. Rainfall also slowly begins to rise. Even 5 years after the war, skin cancer is still on the rise. So is UV damage to plants. It would take around 10 years for nature to begin to take over once again.
Thank you for watching the video. On this note, I pray to the Almighty Allah to bless us with excellent health and also curtail the coronavirus pandemic for the whole of humanity. I pray for the prosperity of nations and individuals. I pray for healthy and long lives for the world. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bestow upon this earth a peaceful and harmonious atmosphere for us to go about our daily duties in a very harmonious way. By this I say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu.